friends, thanks for joining me. It's Morag here with another process video for you, and today I am using the February kits, and as you can see they are absolutely stunning. I'm also using the February colour kit and dies. So the embroidery hoop die, I've cut several layers to make that very thick. So it's about double the depth of normal chipboard, and I think I used maybe 8 or 9 layers. And I want to use this pretty pattern paper for my background, and I'm going to add a little bit of mixed media or ink to the background. So I'm just laying down a little bit of gesso just to stop the ink soaking straight through the paper. And whilst that's drying, I'll turn my attention to the embroidery hoop. And I'm using the ink from the colour kit. It's Catherine Pooler, It's a Girl, so it's a pretty pink. And you can use these inks just as you would any other water-based ink. So you can spray water on it, dilute it and paint with it, which I'll do in a moment. You can of course rub the ink onto a surface using brushes or a sponge, or you can see here I'm actually painting with the ink. So very versatile, and there were 3 inks in this month's colour kit. So once I've finished painting that, my background should be dry now, and I can just lay a little bit of colour onto the background. So to begin with, I should be using the same ink, It's a Girl, that's Catherine Pooler ink pad, and they're a great size, so really handy to put in your tote to take to a crop. It just generally takes up a bit less space than normal sized inks. And I wanted to bring in a little bit more purple from the flowers and papers I'm going to use. So I've also used some shimmers called Berry Hot, which we've got in the colour kit last year. And I'm just going to lay a little bit of extra colour on the top. Now I use a round paintbrush to do my painting generally, just because I find I've got more control, and when I spatter I tend just to go everywhere, so it always goes out of place basically. So I'm just going to back the embroidery hoop with some pattern paper, and I love those hearts. I think they'll make a really pretty background, and I'm just going to glue that into place, which is perfect. And because it's a really thick sturdy piece or sturdy embroidery hoop now, as I say, it's got about 7 or 8 layers. It really gives it a little bit of dimension on my page. And I've decided I'm going to hang my embroidery hoop off the top of my page from a border. So I'm just picking out some pattern papers. I'm just doing my favourite thing at the moment, which is tearing them. I love the texture that you get from torn papers, and you can curl the edges and you just get extra texture. I need to put my teeth back in. And because I've got a border now, it gives me the opportunity to add some ephemera. And I decided that the frame was a little bit too pink, or it didn't match the purple that I added to the background. So I've tried to dull it down with a bit of gesso, and I dried brush gesso onto the frame, but I don't like how that looks either. But it's worth experimenting, isn't it? So it is Throwback Thursday, so I'm pulling out some of the flowers from the December kit. I don't know if you remember the December kit. It was called Winter and had the prettiest flowers that you ever did see. And the title comes from that. No, that's from this month's kit, so that's from the February kit. But yes, it had the prettiest flowers in that kit. So I'm just going to use some of the foliage and flowers from December. just to mix in with this month's flowers. So I decided that I really didn't like the frame as I'd made it, so I'm going to cut another layer, and I'm going to use some of the cardstock kit from this month. Look how cute those little pretty hearts are. So cute. So I've chosen the pale blue just to mount on top. Now I had painted the edges of the frame pink earlier, but I'm okay with that. I just wanted to dull it down a little bit, I think. I think it just went better with my my theme. So in the main kit this month we have this little stamp set. How cute is that? They're really cute. So those little cluster of hearts, those will be so versatile. I think we'll just use those all the time. They're just so versatile. So I've stamped onto the background using the same pink ink. And what I've done, I wanted a kind of a soft impression, so I've stamped off first onto some scrap paper and then stamped onto the background several times. And just because my paper has warped a little bit, and I just really like flat pages at the beginning at least, I've just stuck some scrap card onto the back just to keep it all nice and flat. And then I couldn't remember where I had left everything, so I've kind of put them back where I thought, and I think it moved, I think I've got it further up than I had originally, which meant my top was now a bit squished. But that's okay, I'll adapt. I am dreadful because I take things off and don't remember where I had taken them off from. So my hubby and I were in Barcelona recently for a long weekend. We had fabulous weather, and we took this photo outside Sagrada Familia, which is one of the main cathedrals in Barcelona. It's taken them 100 years to finish it off, but I'm reliably informed by our guide that they're going to finish in the next 3 years. So if you've not been, it might be worth waiting 3 years. Or go before and then go after it's finished. So those beautiful chipboard flowers, those are in the February kit. I believe they are in the embellishment kit this month. They're just really stunning. But I am going to mix in some of those flowers from December. I've also used those vellum hearts, the balloons really. They're really pretty. So I don't know about you, I got a bit not worried about sticking down the vellum onto my background, because typically your glue shows through, doesn't it? So I know in the past I've had that problem, but I found today that I didn't have that problem at all. I use a Nouveau glue, which does dry clear, and I put a very light amount onto the back of the vellum. And by the time it dried, it was really clear, so you couldn't see any marks whatsoever. So I was really pleased with that, and it gave me a bit more confidence to use some more of the vellum on the layout later as well. So I've just used the stamps from the February Pocket Life kit, just to do a little bit of extra texture on the background. But as is my way, I end up covering most of it up. I'm just so typical me, that is. So for that border, I just want to add an extra border on there. And I'm not a purple person, but I do like this kind of purpley colour. So I'm going to add a bit more of that onto the page. And I think that just picks up on some of the flowers and that mixed media I put on the background. So when I've made the border, I do like to make it a little bit uneven, so you'll see it's a bit longer on the right than it is on the left. I have placed the border much higher than I expected, or I really intended, but that's okay, so I'll adapt. Just might have to arrange my tickets in a slightly different way. I love the tickets and tabs that we've got this month. always so handy to add a bit of journaling, a bit of layering. So I'm just going to stick everything down right now. As you can see, I just added a dab of glue, and I added it mainly where it's going to be covered up, because I wasn't too sure at this time. But as I say, I've discovered that actually it worked a treat. You're just using a light amount of the Nouveau glue. So I want to put my twine just so it stretches over the page right up to the top. And I was just trying to decide where to put the title, and this is so typical me. I tend to kind of finish a page, walk away from it, come back and then do a bit more. So off camera I've added some extra vellum script from the kits, just to enhance the title, but I'm really pleased how it turned out overall. It was a bit of a challenge. I also added sequins in from the December kit as well. I hope I've inspired you to take a look at some of your older supplies. We always get so much in a kit, and there's always leftovers, so it's good to look back and include them and mix them in with your current kits, to really make the most of it. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your time. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment if you have any questions. Thanks again then, and see you on the next one. Bye.